Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. I'm here in the Kingdom of Hawaii above the Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu Academy in the industrial area. And every time I open my mouth, trucks come by and make squeaky, horrible sounds. So this is when I have time to be here, and I apologize if the noise is horrible. But you know, we live, we use what we have. I'm here today back from the Merrie Monarch Festival, which was amazing. I put up a little short just of some tables that had lays, but we went all over Hilo and really enjoyed a bunch of the great little setups that they have. We saw a little bit of the parade. We didn't actually go to the parade, but you know how as you're driving around you see the floats coming past when the parade is over, so that's how we saw it. But yeah, it was really cool, and I saw friends and family, and it was really good. But the vlogging that I did was mostly people's butts and feet. I gotta admit, my vlogging skills sucked. Excuse me. Because I was busy looking at things and talking to people. So apologies. I will try and throw up a little bit of that video, but I don't know how much I'm going to get for you. And also there was a lot of music happening, and I don't know how well the music, even though it was, you know, mostly live Hawaiian music, I don't know how well YouTube is going to be able to function with that. Anyway, so I'm here 2 minutes in with a tag. This is Elbows Up Tarot, and this is by my friend who recently came back after a rather long hiatus, Allie Sailor, and she did a couple of videos. I'm going to do a tag to the other one too. But elbows up is a Canadian phrase which has to do with hockey, and it's talking about decks that make you feel kind of like a badass, like you can get it done, like I don't know, very exciting, hardcore stuff that makes you feel like a badass. And I'm trying this bag out for this deck. This is the Merrie. And when I read with the Merrie, I do feel like a badass. Because I read pretty well with it. I understand it very well, and I enjoy it very much. I am, like many of you, let this deck set on the shelf for, I would say I had this deck for a year before I even opened it. And it took me a while to get used to it, but the way I got used to it was by playing with it, by reading the guide, by watching other people's guides on it. I did watch Elle of Sacred Seeds. I did spend time with Chris at Elemental Cartomancy, and who else? There's another lady. I'll link a couple videos on this. And it's one of those decks that people very often feel like the imagery is creepy, spooky, weird. Neither RWS nor Thoth nor Marseille, and yet a little bit of all of those things. This is the earlier edition by Schiffer, which I have trimmed the edges off of so that it just has that little micro black border on it. And I do feel like a badass when I'm reading with this deck. I know the deck backwards and forwards, so it's not hard for me to read. I like the way it reads. I feel very comfortable with it. It's a very fiery deck. Many of these images are some of my favorites. Love that chariot, love that hangman. Really love that judgment card. Love this world. And yeah, it has some incredible art in it, and it is a little weird, so I feel like a badass when I'm reading with it. Yeah. The God, a motorcycle. I mean, it's like all the vehicles. Okay, this one comes in the and you can still get these with the handmade bag by Gabi Angus-West. I went to the website to see if these decks were still available, and this one is, and you can even get it with the bag. But this is Tarot Avatara, and this is, to me, a very fiery deck, a very creative deck, really an exciting deck. When I saw that she was making this, I was so thrilled because I am just a big fan of Frida Kahlo. And I knew that she would work well in the context of tarot. And the fact that this is done with the kind of Toth colorway, working on it too, so that it is, Tarot Avatara is both a Frida Kahlo deck and a Toth deck. And yeah, it's really, really cool. And you get the whole feeling of drama and pain and artistry and rebellion. She was very rebellious. And freedom. It's a very warm deck. Can be harsh. If you are doing love readings with this one, it can kind of hand you your ass. Because Frida had a kind of a dramatic relationship with old Diego. So yeah, Tarot Avatara by Gabi Angus-West makes me feel like a badass when I'm reading with it. All right, next. And most of these decks are going to be available, perhaps not in the editions that I show. This is my Tildrick Tarot. But one or two of them is not. One or two of them is out of print. And I think that's the way Allie did it too. She showed mostly imprint decks. But this is still available at malpertuis.com or Malpertuis, as I used to say. And this is the Tildwick Tarot, and it is built on an old mansion and estate that seems to be completely empty. There are no people in it. Of course, there are a couple people. There's a human figure in the Hanged Man. There's an angel in that one. And in the, I think it's the Ten of Swords. 10 of Swords or 9 of Swords, I forget. Yeah, so it's an old haunted mansion, an English manor house. And I know this deck very, very well because it is the first deck that I ever bought for myself. When it came out, I was looking for something because my first deck was Toth. And I was just in this, yeah, it's the 9 of Swords. I was just in this clutch with Toth. There wasn't a bunch of Toth people on YouTube yet. I didn't know there were books. I didn't know where to go or what to do because I had just gotten the deck in the mail out of the blue, and you know. So Tildrick Tarot by Lovell, still being sold. Different edition though. That one is the first edition. I also feel like a badass when I'm reading with this one in a great old Baba bag. This is the Ritual Tarot. And I just always loved it. I loved it from the moment I saw it. I've just always thought this whole deck was a work of love. I think the art is beautiful. I think she did a great job capturing things. I mean, that just looks like the Chariot to me. And because it has no words or numbers or anything, it does kind of make people think, oh, what's happening here? And it's got a lot of statues and a lot of cutout eyes. And it is, handmade collage art. But to me, this is a very earthy deck. I think it's kind of beautiful and sweet and comforting. That's my feeling of it. The statuary and the crowd eyes and stuff, that's just tarot to me. But the land and the ocean and the images that she used, I think, are quite beautiful. But I do feel like a badass when I'm reading. This is definitely an elbows up deck. And, if ever I misspeak and call a card something that it isn't because they're not labeled, I just assume, well, that's what it was meant to be. All right. This one. I just love this deck. I think that this is my favorite Chris Leech deck. I mean, I do love the Odyssean and I love the Delian Oracle that he just put out. But this one's my favorite. And it's because it reminds me of my childhood love for Star Trek. And it's also because as I was getting to know this deck, I was watching the episodes that go along with the card. And they really do work with it. He really did a great job of layering these episodes of these short-lived but unbelievably long. Star Trek has changed movies and television. The way they connected with people with these stories was really amazing, despite the fact that they were kind of horrible people. But yeah, the Star Trek Tarot. I feel like a badass when I'm reading with it because I know every one of these episodes so well. And I do think that it works with tarot really well because each one of the Star Trek episodes had a message. It was trying to say something to the world at large. Okay, let's get into this. I've been seeing this more and more. People are really into this deck, which I'm thrilled with. This is Mythilogica Fennica. And this is another one that I took this study little by little. I took cards, like 2 or 3 cards, and just read the whole thing on them. And as I was going through the deck, I realized, oh wow, all these cards are connected. It's all one big story. And the Finnish myths, of course, are kind of, it's a little Viking, right? The Finns, the Norwegians, the Swiss, and the Danish people, Icelandic people, they're all kind of have that history in common. And so these myths really touched me in my ancestral heart. And I love the stories. I think the stories are great. Louis. And mine is the old out of print edition, but you can get the new one, which has a book in English and and upgraded like titles so you can tell what is what. I was kind of trying to wait for the bandsaw to end, but it is not ending. Again, this is a deck that I have the older version of. This is Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. And these images are these are all oil paintings that Joyce did. All the minors were done over the skeleton of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So they all have all these cards feel very kind of vibrant and as if they are alive. That's how they feel to me. And I have spent a lot of time like this. The Four of Cups. This is such a good discussion. I've spent a lot of time listening to Pamela Eakins on her channel here on YouTube. And it really is interesting. Father of Cups. You can see this guy on a horse in the waves. It's just astonishing. Mother of Earth. And yeah, I feel like a badass when I'm reading with this deck because it's really much deeper than you would think. Some of these images look like, oh, well, that's nothing special. But when you have like a good, hard question and you've laid out, 10 cards and you're sitting there with your card, it's just really good. And it does make me feel like a badass when I'm reading with it. That's the extra card. Because it just speaks so clearly and beautifully to me. Tarot of the Spirit. Great deck. Okay, I think they're done. Okay. So I'm going to do my wildly out of print decks last. And that will make you feel a little better. I don't know. I guess. Maybe. Let's do this one. This one. I don't know. And this is a mass market low Scarabeo deck that really flew under my radar for a while. But I'm telling you, this is the best Greek myth tarot. It just is. I love what they did with the artwork. I love the connections they made to the different myths. I think it reads extraordinarily well. And the artwork is a little dramatic, like a little actors on stage, which works for the myths. For Circe, there are faces like this guy and this girl here that really connect you with these mythological characters and make you feel like, okay, yeah, I know who they were, and they seem like real people. So the readings are very clear and very succinct, and I love this deck. I just think they did a great job. So that is the Cersei Tarot, and it's a low Scarabeo by Fabio Visintin and Pierluigi Tiera. Just a stunning, great deck. And then we'll get into my OOP ones. So if you don't want to see the OOP, you don't have to see the OOP. But in this pearl bag, if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I have the latest edition of the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Benebell 1. And because I watched this tarot being created, because I followed Benebell through the entire thing, because I've followed her on Instagram for probably a decade, I have seen her in many of these places. When she went to Japan, when she did her European tour, and I watched her going through some of the trials and tribulations of the creative process of this deck. I recognize even in this last edition, which has been so changed from the earliest editions, I recognize all those bits and pieces that have been the same from the beginning. So, and I've done a lot of readings with this deck with just people. Live face-to-face readings, and it reads really, really, really well. It does tend to just get right to the point with people. I wouldn't say it's harsh. I would say it's just very true to life. Very truthful is the way I want to what I want to call this deck, and that is the Spirit Keepers Revelation, the second printing. And my final deck, I think this is 9 decks. I believe Allie did 6, but this I just couldn't. I could have kept going, honestly. Some of these decks are just great. This is the Tarot of the Crone, and love those shadow cards. These are kings in many decks, but the shadows in this are when the suit has gone beyond where it should go. The grandmothers, the witches, the active cards, the beasts, which are the pages. These cards are so good. And to me, this is sweet and nurturing and juicy. And this to me is almost a hug deck. But I mean, if you have a witchy soul, that's the way it's going to be, right? And I guess I do. I do have a witchy soul. But I also did like a 78-day challenge with this. So I read all the stuff. I got used to the color coding of it. And I actually was fortunate enough to be in one of Ellen Lorenzi's Northwest Tarot Symposium groups, where she did a kind of meditation journeying, which was really nice. And so I really connected with this deck. And when I read with it, I do feel kind of like a badass, because it is, it's kind of a mystery to a lot of people, right? A lot of people are like, oh my God, the imagery here, and like this kind of stuff. This moon is, okay, she's a little creepy. This here, but that's kind of what the moon means, right? That's actually a grandmother. The moon is misunderstood. It's seen in a different way. Death also. Look at that, the door coming from the yoni. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a very comforting, beautiful deck. And so I love it. And when I'm doing readings with it, I feel like a badass. I feel like I got my elbows up and I'm deep in it. And that's what it is more than anything to me, is being deep in it with these decks. Decks that make you really look at them and really chew on them. And yeah. So that's it for this part of it. I'm going to try and add in some little bits from Merrie Monarch, but I don't know how much I'm going to get out of it, because once again, there was a bunch of feet and butts and nobody wants to see all that. I was trying to get like pictures of the feather lays and all the flower lays I put up on my Insta in a little reel, but some cool stuff, but I'll try, okay? And thank you for coming.
So you have the light in the water. There is going on right in the thing behind this. You don't have to purchase. You gotta go talk to one of the cycle. Man, it does match you.
from the injection.
You know it's full to the top. You want long gun? Okay, go ahead. Good. Yes. Yes.
Oh, nice. That's not the.
Yeah, thank you. No, please.